Now it's time to pass to the call conditions, specific call conditions for SNSJU. My name is Pavlos Fournogerakis. I'm a deputy head of programs in the Smart Networks and Services joint undertaking. And in this presentation, I will try to guide you through the detailed call conditions. Before we go into the details, a few important aspects that you always have to take into account for the call. Some important dates that have been already mentioned. The call was opened on the 16th January. And now you can see in the funding and tenders portal, you have everything, and you can submit. You can already submit a proposal. The submission deadline is 18th April, 17 hours. So let's say Brussels local time, 5 o'clock. But we always recommend that you finalize your submission a few days before the submission deadline. There are always some, we have seen that there are some technical issues, so it is difficult to deal with them close to the submission deadline. So please make sure that you submit your proposal earlier. What you must read, I have included all these links also in the briefing session that we had in December, but it is it's always let's say important to reiterate what is necessary to read before you start your proposal drafting. So our SNS R&I work program 2024 on our website. The funding and tenders portal, you can also find same information there. And what I'm going to mention today, present the details of our appendix. So I'm not going to present all the details of Horizon Europe conditions, of course, but I'm going to focus on the additional conditions of the SNS 2024 call. That is part of the appendix. It is the appendix of our work program. Some important background reading. Also, the frequently asked questions. It was also posted in the chat box before. We keep an up-to-date, let's say, FAQ list on our website. So before you post any questions, it is also important that you go and read that maybe your question has been already answered in the FAQ. These are the topics at a glance. They have been also presented before. But now we go into the details in terms of budget and in terms of, let's say, participation and funding rate. So we have eight topics under stream B. You can see the budget in the right column. We have one topic in stream C, the microelectronics. We have one topic in stream D. One CSA, and of course the EU-Rail SNSJU synergy call that has been presented by my colleague Lea before. The total funding is 129 million euros, including the EU-Rail SNS synergy call. And in terms of funding rates, it is important to mention the differences that from the standard Horizon Europe rules. So for research, innovation actions and CSA, collaboration and support action, we have 100% for non-for-profit organizations, but for profit organization in SNSJU, the funding rate is 90%. Innovation action rules are the same with the standard Horizon Europe rules. So we have 100% for non-for-profit organization and 70% for profit organization. What we also state in the funding and tenders portal is that for RIAs and the CSAs, the maximum funding rate in the budget table is set to 100%. And this is because it follows the standard Horizon Europe rules. So we kindly ask all for-profit organizations to make a manual calculation and request only 90% of the budget. This will be very, very helpful for us for the, let's say, estimation and the calculations of the requested EU funding. For the EU Rail SNS Synergy Call, this will be implemented by EURail.eu, as mentioned by Lea, and the call will open on 25th of January. So in terms of call conditions, our call conditions, the SNS.eu call conditions, are based on the general annexes. We have provided the link also in the work program, but also in this slide set. Please check the general annexes for all the detailed Horizon Europe conditions. The same is the case for the list of participating countries. So there is always up-to-date list of participating countries in Horizon Europe. This includes all the latest updates. For example, the UK Association to Horizon Europe, something that has been also there were many questions and let's say in the last month about this topic. As the UK now is fully associated to Horizon Europe, so you can check all the list of participating countries in this document. In SNS, some of the provisions of the general annexes have been amended to cover the specificities, and there are several specificities in all the aspects. For example, the admissibility part, eligibility. We have the generation of ICOP, the in-kind contribution to operational activities that I will explain later. We have some targets on SME participation. We have specific security provisions that apply in our calls, and the collaboration between projects. Starting from admissibility, and this of course mainly relates to the maximum page of number of pages of the proposal. Again, here we differentiate from the standard Horizon Europe rules. So in our case, the limit for RIAS and for EAS in streams B, C, and D, the limit is 100 pages. Of course, you don't have to provide, to go to the maximum, to provide a proposal with 100 pages. This is what we say is that this is mainly for complex proposals that cover multiple technological dimensions and several of the topics that are mentioned in the work program. But if you have, let's say, a proposal that with a low number of partners and specific focus, you can submit a proposal of, I don't know, indicative 70 pages. So it doesn't mean that you have to go to the maximum. It is the opposite. What we say is that it is very important to be concise and avoid duplications and repetitions in the proposal. For CSAs, then the limit for a full application is 50 pages, again, different from the standard Horizon Europe rules of, I don't know, 25 pages. So you need to be careful that there's specific conditions for SNS. Now I will move to the let's say notion of in-kind contribution to operational activities. This is something, of course, known to the applicants that participated in the previous call. This is not the first time that we use it. So when we mention in-kind contribution to operational activities, and this is the definition that we have in the Council regulation that established the SNS.eu. So we refer to the, let's say, eligible costs incurred by them, less the contribution of the joint undertaking. So what we practically mean for the SNS.eu is that the ICOP can be generated by entities that belong to the member other than the union, which in SNS.eu case is the 6G Smart Networks and Services Industry Association. So if we have a proposal, a real proposal that we have a for-profit entity receiving 90% of the eligible of the total costs, then the remaining 10% can be considered as ICOP. And of course, in order to be valid as ICOP, to be eligible to be considered as ICOP, this for-profit entity has to be a member of the 6GIA. So private entities belonging to the 6GIA will naturally generate ICOP due to the reduced funding rate, so which is 90% for EAS CSAs and 70% for innovation action. ICOP is a very important tool for the SNSJU because we, as it is again in the SBA, the Single Basic Act and the council regulation for the establishment of the organization, it is very, very critical, very important to stimulate private investments in addition to the public investments at the SNSJU funding. So this is a very important tool for us. We have, let's say, an ICOP target clearly presented in the work program and the appendix. The ICOP target at program level is 6% of the total funding, which corresponds to a minimum 8 million euros. And this table that is you can also find in the work program, considering past average participation and calculations based on type of beneficiaries, their profit, members of the 6GIA, based on these calculations, we produced the indicative ICOP levels per stream in order to reach the target objective of 8 million euros. So these are the numbers that will be taken into account for the evaluation in terms of ICOP. And ICOP, just to go into the details, is not an eligibility criterion. So it does not refer, I mean, to the rules that you have to definitely, let's say, fulfill in order to be eligible, but it is an award criterion. So there is a specific impact sub-criterion for streams B, C, and D. It is the extent that the participants contribute to the ICOP target. So we will have your calculations in the mandatory declaration table that I will present in a few slides, and then we will let's say compare to the indicative ICOP level. So it is not, of course, an important criterion, but it has its weight, and it will certainly be taken into account for the evaluation of the proposals. So the ICOP level is also a tool to break the ties between equally marked proposal. So in the standard rules for breaking the ties, it is placed after the SME criterion. So I invite you to also check the relevant text in the work program to see exactly how we managed to break. We plan to break the ties for EAS and CSAs and innovation and EAS, innovation actions. So applicants will have to fill a mandatory ICOP declaration table. This also happened in the previous calls. Of course, now the ICOP declaration table is a bit different to also cover the 6GIA membership rule. I will explain you in the next slide. In terms of eligibility, and eligibility practically reflects exactly the rules, what you have to implement in order for your project to be able to be evaluated and assessed. Here we have Horizon Europe rules applying also for the eligibility criterion, but we have a differentiation for the streams that I present in this table. This was also mentioned by Javier before in his presentation in the orientations part, but I would like to go in a bit into more detail in this slide. So for streams B7, B8, and C1, at least half of the budget should be implemented by the SNSJU member, other than a union, and their constituent or affiliated entities, so practically 6GIA members. And in the case of stream D, the large-scale trials, 70% of the budget should be implemented by 6GIA member. And all the other topics, all the other streams are of course fully open, but in any case, the ICOP incentive that I presented before applies. So we need to make sure that the ICOP reaches, let's say, the targets that we plan in the conditions. And then why we have this, let's say, minimum required percentage of participation, let's say, of 6GIA members. It is mainly to support ICOP generations, but also partners, long-term commitment and collaboration with new players. So for example, in B7 and B8, where we have the new topics on sustainability and AI, it is important that we have in the project, let's say, new partners, new players from these specific communities, and that will allow, of course, a long-term commitment in terms of providing strong impact and important, let's say, impactful results in this area. The same is the case for D, where we invite, let's say, verticals to participate in our project with a long-term commitment, and also they're welcome, of course, to participate to be a member of the 6GIA. Everyone can participate and can, let's say, become a member of the 6GIA. Applicants for these specific topics have to fill a mandatory table of compliance at proposal stage. This is a new feature, a new, let's say, requirement compared to the previous calls that I would like to draw your attention, because if you don't, let's say, you don't reach the target of, let's say, openness, as we have above, the 50% or 70%, or if you don't provide this table, your proposal will be automatically considered ineligible and it will not be evaluated. So please, I would like, for these specific topics, I would like to draw your attention that it is mandatory to provide us the correct table. And this is how the table looks like. We integrated together in one table the ICOP declaration and the table of compliance. So this table has to be filled by all participants and for all topics, even if ICOP is 0. So even if you're not member of the association, you have to include the line. We need to assess that this is the case. So all participants are invited for all topics to have a line, to add a line in this table. And especially for streams B7, B8, C1, and D1, the table will be considered for the eligibility assessment. So if you don't fill the table, you'll be considered automatically ineligible. So this table includes the PIC, the legal name, the 6GIA membership, yes, no, or affiliate, the ICOP, of course. And only for affiliate 6GIA members, you need also to fill the legal name of the member legal entity, the entity that you are linked, and the PIC of the member legal entity again. So it is important that we have all this info to assess the eligibility criterion. For SMEs, the standard, the target remains at 20% at program level. So it is similar to previous programs. We were very happy to see that in the last call, we reached almost 26%, so much higher than our target. But we will keep the same target for this call. And there is also a relevant sub-criterion, so this has to be also assessed during the evaluation, which reads as SME participation and opportunities to leverage project results, and is also used, as mentioned before, in terms of, let's say, breaking the ties, if you have similar scores. So the SMEs, the level of SME participation is used as a criterion for that. Now, in terms of security, another important, let's say, special conditions in our work program. We had it also in the previous calls, but also for Stream D. But now we have a differentiated approach, and indeed the policy context, the policy background has evolved since last years. So we had to make to have a stricter approach in the terms of security, let's say, conditions. What I mentioned in this slide is the policy background. So 5G security toolbox, of course, is an important part of the regulation for the establishment of the SNS JU. So we have to follow all the developments in terms of the toolbox. And we had a development last year that we had a commission communication on the implementation of the 5G security toolbox, stating that certain network suppliers represent higher risk than other 5G suppliers. So, as mentioned in the communication, the Commission intends to reflect this decision in all relevant EU funding programs and instruments, including, of course, SNS-JU. Another big change is that the Commission adopted its strategy to enhance European economic security, and it referred to a broader set of risks, like resilience of supply chains or technology security, technology leakage. And 5G and 6G security was explicitly mentioned in the context of the economic security. So against this background, we had to update the security approach. For every proposal, as you know, this is a standard approach to have the security issues table filled by the applicant. But this is the security self-declaration, self-assessment, which is the case, which is, the rule for all Horizon Europe proposals. But this declaration is limited to 1,000 characters. And in our case, we needed a more detailed security declaration. So now, all streams, B, C, and D, except for CSA, of course, they have to submit a mandatory security declaration. It is already an annexed form to the proposal, so you can download it in the FNT portal. And this declaration, in this declaration, you need to demonstrate, you need to add your own text. You need to demonstrate that economic security risks, like the technology leakage and the supply chain risk that I have mentioned before, have been identified and addressed in your proposal, and that the management of project results, the technologies and the equipment that you use, including software and services, comply with all the relevant security requirements. So in this context, we have also added a new criterion in the impact. In fact, we have updated the previous one on the EU supply side, added value on the EU supply side. So we have updated that one to include also the security context. So in this impact criterion, let's say, you can find it, of course, in the appendix, but it has to be addressed in a sufficiently effective way. Otherwise, this will be considered as a significant weakness. And this is a big change compared to the previous, let's say, calls. Of course, on top of that, and based on the security declaration by the applicant, and of course, after the evaluation carried out by the independent experts, so if we see that we need to take extra security measures, this will we will consider it afterwards, after the evaluation. So we may carry out a security, let's say, follow-up security scrutiny. Some other important conditions, project collaboration. We continue the same approach in terms of project collaboration. So participants of selected projects, in the end, they will be requested to cooperate in the SNS program. We have mentioned before that there are many collaborative structures like the steering board, the technology board, the working groups, where the projects collaborate to present common results or provide demonstration or exchange results. So many ways of different collaboration in terms of providing input to standardization and so on and so forth. So in the next, so selected projects from the next call will be also invited to sign a collaboration agreement, which is referring to specific provisions of the model grant agreement. We will see how this will be implemented, but this is something that will apply to all selected projects. And of course, in the EU Rail and the SNS Synergy call, Lea has presented that extensively, so no need to mention that. Just to remind you that the submission of proposals will be done through the EU Rail JU call and not through the SNS call. So we don't have an open call in the FNT portal for that yet. In terms of support, we have received many questions from you in the last month after the publication of the work program. So just to remind you how to deal with if you need support or if you have any questions. So first of all, please go to the FAQs. FAQs is the first step. Please check the SNS FAQ, but also the general Horizon Europe FAQ. If you don't find any answer there, if it is about generic questions on participation or some financial questions that we have seen also in this call, you can ask them in the research and inquiry service. This is a service that is provided by my colleagues in REA as well. So they answer to all general questions on Horizon Europe. And of course, you can always contact your national contact points. We will have also a presentation after my presentation, after the FAQ, so they will also explain all the services, the important services that they can provide to applicants. In terms of standardization, and it is important because standardization is a key target of our program. So we, this time we expect high impactful contributions to standardization. If you need any questions, of course, Senelec Research Helpdesk and ETSI Research Helpdesk can give you advice on how to tackle standardization in your proposal. There is a brokerage platform as well. This is always open, so we offer online brokerage services. You can present your profiles there, your interest, you present your project ideas, and you can team up with other, let's say, participants. And for newcomers in the EU grants, this was also a kind request from our, let's say, research and executive agency colleagues. It is important for newcomers to have a peak number to register themselves before they submit. So please, I refer to this presentation, this link from the Central Validation Service, and there is also a video that will guide you through the process. It's a very easy one, takes 5 minutes if you want to register and obtain a peak. In terms of SNS website, we have a form. If you have dedicated questions, technical questions on the content that they cannot be answered by all the previous means that I mentioned, please feel free to send us an email to connect1sns@ec.europa.eu. This is our functional mailbox, but you can also fill the relevant form in the SNS website. And in terms of brokerage, this is also very important. We have also had a lot of communication on this event that will take place next Thursday on 25th of January. So the registration is still open. Of course, you can register till the last minute, but in terms of pitches, and this is very important, the deadline for presentation and pitches is today, end of business. So this is also another reminder that if you want to present yourself, to have a presentation of your ideas or your expertise and what you want to achieve in the SNS call, the deadline for that is today. So that's all from my side. Yeah, it took me a bit more than expected, but I hope I covered all the important aspects of the conditions of the SNS third call. I will stop my presentation now, and I will give the floor to Alex and Kostas. Yeah, any questions for me? Thank you.
Costa, please.
No, it's okay. I think we're more or less going to say the same thing. Thanks so much, Pablo. I think you've already answered a lot of interesting questions. Alex already tried to respond to one regarding ICO, but there is one more regarding the collaboration with Japan and Republic of Korea, specifically whether the proponents have to include the researchers in Japan and the Republic of Korea in the proposal of Horizon Europe as an associated partner to indicate collaborations, especially to the technical part of the proposal. And if it's required for the Japanese and Republic of Korean project members to also register to the funding and tenders portal as required normally by associated partners.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, Alex, have you answered that, or should I answer?
No, I haven't. You can answer it, or I can, whatever you prefer.
Okay, what we say in this case is that EU, Japan, and EU, Republic of Korea calls are not joint calls. So it is not mandatory to include the Japanese and Korean-based entities in the consortia. Of course, if they participate, they're not eligible for funding, but they can participate as associated partners. This is what we say for these calls. And again, the recommendation was clear before what they need to provide in the proposal. So this is exactly what we need from them. It is also explicitly mentioned in the work program text. I expect that I mean all the details are provided in the proposal, how this collaboration will be implemented, how this will take place. I don't know if I answered this question, or is there any I don't know, clarification needed for that?
I believe so. I believe so, and that, and as with multiple other questions regarding ICOP, etc., I think there have been many valuable links provided also in the chat, but also in the slide set, where hopefully all of this is clarified. So indeed, we invite everybody to
what I mentioned also in my presentation is that if they participate in our in the proposal, even if they're participating as associated partners, because this is the only possibility for them, for Japan and Korean-based entities, they need to take a peek. They need to register, so they have to participate, to do the procedure, the normal procedure for Horizon Europe. So the link, I have included the link and the video in my presentation as well.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you so much, Pablo. And I see that Odysseas has also jumped at the opportunity to provide some additional information. Thanks a lot for that. Let me answer one question that probably I can answer regarding whether the chat record will be available. Indeed, this is what I've been doing throughout this whole day. And we can indeed make this available afterwards with all the rest of the material from today's presentations. I don't see any other question in the chat. I'm not sure, maybe we have a couple more minutes in case someone wants to pose a question right now.
I see David raising his hand. David.
Yes.
Hi, guys. Two simple quick points. One, just to complement something Pavlos said about the collaboration agreement between the running projects. Just to bring people up to date, we have that fully signed up for phase 1. However, we may need to adjust it a little because the method for joining the agreement will be different for the Call 2 projects and for the Call 3 projects, so we have to adjust it. So there's a slight delay in sending the collaboration agreement to the Call 2 projects to make sure we have the right structure on it for Call 2 and 3, but we hope to resolve that very shortly. The other point is he mentioned our brokerage event later this week. There's over 200 people registered and already about 50 presentations offered. We'll soon hit the limit of pitch presentations. So if you want to make a pitch, please register quickly and get it done, because we'll have to draw a line as to how many we can physically fit in a day shortly. So again, registrations to make presentations close today, and it'll be on a first come, first serve basis if we get oversubscribed. Thank you.
Thank you.
David.
Yeah, very important aspect. Just to clarify a bit further on the collaboration agreement, you don't have to worry for now in terms of the implementation that we're going to follow later for the selected proposals at the gap level. So the most important thing is for the evaluation for the moment is to have clear in the proposal that you are happy to collaborate, and this is one of the big intentions of the proposal, to participate in all these collaborative structures. So we need to clearly see that, assess that there is you clearly have the intention to collaborate with other proposals, with other successful projects from this call and the previous calls, of course. Yeah.
Costa, if I'm not mistaken, we don't, and Pavlo, we don't have any further question right now.
Correct.
So I think that
what we can, I would like also to, before I close, is that of course we take into account all these questions for our FAQ update, but this will continue. We will not stop here. So if we receive any further questions that are relevant for all applicants, we will make sure that they are all visible in our SNS FAQ. So this is important if you have any question after the info day, because you need some time to digest all this information. Don't hesitate to contact us, and we will make sure that it will be visible in the FAQ portal on the site. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pavlo. Thank you very much, Costa. And now let's move on to the last presentation for today. Quite interesting, from Manfred Halver. Manfred, from the Ideal-ist project.
My name is Manfred Halver. I'm Digital NCP for Cluster 4 in Horizon Europe, and also part of the SNS team of the Ideal-ist network. What is Ideal-ist? Ideal-ist is the network of national contact points in Horizon Europe for the Cluster 4, for the digital part. And of course, smart networks and services is one of our main partnerships that we have in the cluster, and therefore we also offer our services for that. Next slide, please. I also have to apologize for my voice. I'm still trying to recover from a bit of an infection. Ideal-ist, as I said, is a network of NCPs. So it means we are established in a lot of countries, I think 48 at the moment. What we do is, since 1996, we offer and develop further support for proposals. And that, of course, also includes proposals for the smart networks and services calls. Next slide, please. I don't go over this in detail. And one more. So what services do we offer for you? You can see here brokerage events. In principle, yes, for smart networks and services. Specifically, we count on SNS to cover all your needs with the brokerage that SNS itself offers. But for example, if you come from a similar or from a topic close to SNS, like photonics, we are also active in the rest of the cluster 4 topics. So if you're a photonics guy, or in I don't know, software technologies, you can use the brokerage services that Ideal-ist offers typically at big ICT events, but also online. We offer the opportunity for you, if you have specific needs, to get special partners from a special country, or with specific needs that you, for example, need a social scientists in your consortium, or like that. You can engage with us, and we help you spreading the word and getting you a suitable partner. We offer, of course, news and notifications on major developments. Also something called a topic tree. I will present it in one of the next slides. And one of our major services is the spectrum of full proposal checks and proposal idea check, meaning if you have an idea for any proposal in the digital domain, in Horizon Europe, in SNS and CHIPS, you can come to us. We check it with you, we discuss it with you. And also, if you have already an advanced draft for a proposal, you can have this checked not only by national contact points, but also by experts having been active in proposal evaluation in the framework programs that we hire to do these checks for you before you submit finally. Next slide, please. Thank you. What is the topic tree? In the topic tree, we collect all topics that are connected to the digital. You see here in the screenshot that there's ICT, for example, as denominator of the topics. That means we collect from the past, but also from current work programs, and as soon as they are available from future topics, and try to interconnect them with our expert knowledge on what is connected to what. And if you click on these topics, for example, in the public version, where you have the link here, you can see what happened in these topics, how much budget is in there, what type of projects are asked for, and especially when you prepare a topic for a current call, a proposal, then you can go back and see what has been funded in the latest calls, or in 2 or 3 years ago, and can get information on these projects and link, for example, to those coordinators of those projects, or see what are the abstracts. So you can build your project surrounding your project environment to present in your proposal. Next slide, please. So again, the proposal check, proposal idea check, The next one will be in about 2 weeks of time at the Research to Reality, the big digital conference from the European Commission and the Belgian presidency in Brussels. So if you're there, and it should be 2024, that's a typo of my side. I hope I will not have these typos in February again. So you can visit us at our booth, at our place, at the Research to Reality, and get in touch with experts, and we will help you. So the next slide is about the full proposal check, also at the Research to Reality conference in February 2024, but also online. So if you prepare for the current SNS call a draft, I think that the 19th to 23rd of February might be a possible date for you if you already have some advanced draft there to get it checked. You need to pre-register at the idealist2024.proposalcheck.eu, and it guides you through the process. As is the same like with the brokerages of the SNS, we guide you through the process. And if you have any questions, you can easily get in touch with us. My last content slide is the next one. That's the Research to Reality, where we will have several Idealist posted events there. We have Evaluation in Horizon Europe, which is basically the same as evaluation in smart networks and services. So if you're interested in how evaluation works, so that you can prepare your proposal in a bit of a better way, come visit us on site in Brussels. We are also discussing synergies, especially between Horizon Europe and the Digital Europe program, something that you might be interested when it comes to technology infrastructures, to deployment of new technologies that cannot be supported in SNS, but you have some project results probably. Again, come visit us, we will be there. Evaluation in Digital Europe is less of interest for you, but impact pathways on Horizon might be of interest because you also have to present this in the smart networks and services proposals. So these impact pathways are really, really important parts of a proposal, and that's why we have a specific session on that. So in principle, the next slide is only when you get the slides that you have all the links where you find us. www.idealist.eu is the main webpage. You will find all links to the Research to Reality, to our proposal services, to the topic tree there. We are also active on X or Twitter and LinkedIn, of course, and there's a YouTube channel with some short, informative, helpful videos on how to proposal in principle. We are always available for you if you have questions now. I'm here until the end of the event. Otherwise, come visit our website, find your national contact, and get in touch with us. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Manfred.
Yeah, there is one
Really
question that I want to answer immediately, if you allow me. We do not charge for our services. They are all free of charge. We are all installed by the states that we are hosted by. So the services are free of charge.
Thank you very much. We have just very few minutes. I don't know if there is any last question. I sincerely hope that the event today was useful to all of you that are preparing your proposals. Many thanks to all the speakers from DG Connect, the SNSJU office, and my colleague at the CG Industry Association. Pavlo, I don't know if you have any closing remarks or anybody else from the SNSJU office.
No, we will. What I will say is that we count on your participation for 6G excellence, research excellence in Europe, and we're really looking forward to high quality proposals in this field. And of course, we are waiting for you to participate in the brokerage event. I believe it will be beneficial for all applicants to see exactly, to get some ideas, but also to find, let's say, partners that they can collaborate with. So that's the only closing remark from my side. And thanks, thank you all for your participation in this event.
Thank you. And with this, the meeting is closed. Have a nice day, everybody. Take care.